was forced to sea between the Fish and Rice Kama rivers to the British. As you hear, he was not asked, he was forced to do so. And they were doing it all over. One of the Zuma chiefs near Pietermaritzburg, the town called Howick, all of that area belongs to the Zumas. We are claiming it. We are claiming it. Inkosi Uzuma Mafahleni, they came, the British, to say, look, we ask you to give the small portion you want to establish town. He said, no, I don't want. They went away. They came second time with weapons and soldiers and guns and said, we've come to ask this piece of land. Realized this now was war. Said, well, you can just use the space only. As if that was not enough. When after they established, they realized how fertile the ground was. You know this big dam, Mitma Dam. It's actually supposed to be a Zuma Dam. Yeah. After some time, they said, no, can you just go other side of the mountain so that here we'll do something. And they were establishing farmers. All those farms there, the majority of them are British owned, or English people owned, Germans. The critical point is that they had every power we didn't have to colonize us. We fought though, seriously. In 1818, the British invaded the Xhosa territory by attacking Dlambe, was one of the leaders, and seized 23,000 cattle, marking the outbreak of the fifth war of dispossession. Subsequently, those Xhosas in those communities whose cattle had been seized rallied behind Kanxele, who led an attack of 6,000 warriors on Grahamstown. They provoked us. They did everything. In 1825, Landros Andres negameli likhunike stock and room or Rome, I don't know, began issuing temporary permits allowing white farmers to graze their livestock north of the Orange River, but they were not allowed to trade or erect buildings. This changes later in the decade as farmers stop asking for permission and simply inform the magistrate. 1828, Ordinance 49 of 1828 is passed. The ordinance allows the government to source laborers from frontier communities. All black workers were given passes for the sole purpose of working, and all contracts over a month long were to be registered. So systematically, they began to want to know each and every one of us. You must carry a pass, you must be registered, you must be known. Partly also to prevent us from fighting so that they can easily identify. In 1829, January, Makoma raids Bawana, a Tembu chief, forcing the latter's followers to flee across into territory seized by the colonialists. Stockenstrom ordered the expulsion of Makoma from the Cat River Valley and establishes a settlement for landless Khoi to create a buffer zone between the Xhosa community and white settler farmers, and to consolidate territory seized by the colonialists. Makoma responds by increasing cattle rates on white farmers, facing them or forcing them to informally allow him to return to the territory. In 1883 and 85, in December, the Xhosa community launched an attack on the British after Xhoxho. After Xhoxho was injured by a British patrol, sparking the Sixth War of Dispossession. So you can count a number of incidents where we were provoked. They covered, in actual fact, the entire country. They moved throughout. They attacked Shweshwe. There are these guys, like Sir Benjamin Durban. I don't know why it was Durban named Durban after this fellow. And I don't. Project talks until we. It's better. And there were annexation after annexation. At 1837, the Voortrekkers, under the leadership of Hendrik Potgieter, defeated the Ndebele under Mzilikazi at the Mariko River and seized vast tracts of land between the Limpopo and Fall rivers. It must be noted that Mzilikazi is one king who was effectively exiled by the Boers and seems to have been written out of South African history. He had to cross to Zimbabwe finally. He went to Botswana, then crossed to Zimbabwe. And he had had quite a big kingdom. In 1888, in May, the Voortrekkers, led by Andries Pretorius, fought and defeated the Zulu at the banks of the Ngome River, called the Blood River, and dispossessed them of their land. In fact, they took the whole area in the south of the Tugela, naming it the Republic of Natalia. It only changed later when the British took it and they called it Natal. It's countless accounts where they went. They even went to the king of the Swatis, particularly the Afrikaners, Hendrik Potgieter. He also signed a treaty there. So there is no corner of the land they did not touch. The point I'm stressing is that this was long before 1913. You can deal with many incidences. They will indicate that indeed, long before 1913, the land was taken to everybody, to every community in South Africa. There are details that will always, in a sense, support this view. It is absolutely important for us to be aware of this, and I think we need on this matter to put our facts together as the Black Caucus, instead of just demanding our land, but let those among us who can put it together and articulate it, present it to everywhere. And I would be happy if you could even go and address Parliament about those matters. In 1848, in February, a land government commission established during the year states that the extent of land recommended by the 1846 to 47 Commission is excessive. The Commission apportions land to white settlers. This point of settlers is important for us to appreciate. That part of our difficulties in South Africa is because we have the biggest number of European settlers in the whole world. And we have got to appreciate that, therefore, the resistance to give land is going to be very serious. Many countries in Africa who were colonies, once they were decolonized, the administrators packed their bags and left. Here, we used to call it special. Exactly, Bengfuni correction. Colonization of a special type, where the colonizer lives with the colonized. That tells you how difficult our struggle is. All other countries, they left, people remained, did whatever they wanted to do about their land, their everything. With us, different. We are all here. In 1850, Sir George Grey confiscated land from black people, leaving them to search for work in farms. The taking of the land, one of the things that encouraged it was to make blacks, particularly after the discovery of diamond and gold, that they should go and work. If they had land, they would be able to live. And so it was important to deliberately dispossess them. There were many things they introduced in order to force us to go and work. So the taking of the land created the labor force. We were people in our country, citizens, staying, doing our land, everything, were then turned into laborers because the land had been taken from us. 1852, the British under Sir George Cathcart attacked the Basotho under King Moshoeshoe. And it was the same until King Moshoeshoe asked the British to help. There are many of the incidents that detail how the land was taken away from us. And I don't know why people should pretend it never happened. In November 1853, a resolution taken by Volksstraat enables district commandants to grant land for occupation by Africans on condition of good behavior. And good behavior was simple. Be kind to them. Don't fight. However, the under under the resolution, there was no individual title. Africans had to use the land communally. Chiefs were regarded as trustees of the tribe. However, power over the land still remained in the hands of the white government. Be kind, the land is not yours, it's just your chief is keeping it in trust. So all of that. In 1855, in June, Resolution 159 is adopted by the Transvaal government. It prohibits anybody who was not a beggar from owning land, and also prohibits Africans from having beggar rights. So there were laws and regulations made just to keep you away from land. In 1856, Voortrecht has declared an independent Zuid-Afrikaanse Republic and lay claim to the Transvaal. You must not worry, my Afrikaans is prison Afrikaans. It is very little. They declare this republic and lay claim to the Transvaal and the land up to the Limpopo River. Just say, this is our land now, move off. In 1857, in April, Lieutenant General Scott issues a proclamation offering vacant crown lands, which are between 300 and 3,000 hectares. This increases land speculation by white settlers, who in turn, after purchasing the land, leave it to Africans at yearly rental of 5 shillings. So with time, it becomes stronger and stronger. In 1858, the first Basotho-Boer War breaks out as a Voltrekker commando attacks Thaba Bosiu. In response, the Sothos mobilize an army of 10,000 warriors who raid unprotected settler farms and defeat the Voltrekkers and force them to retreat. This battle continued for some time until Moshoeshoe asked for the British to protect. And then that's how Lesotho become the British protectorate, protecting themselves from the Boers. This happened in every other area until they covered the whole country. Kingdoms fell, some disappeared. After pushing some people across rivers, they will build on the other side the line of soldiers that are waiting for people to cross. The story of land is a sad story in our country. It's a sad story that there was a deliberate decision to send a particular number of settlers in 1820-something to come and settle and draw a border to say this land at this site now belong to somebody. And people seeing their cattle across, if they cross to fetch their cattle, they are called thieves. They've come to steal our cattle. And I don't think they came with a single cow in the ship when they landed. The critical point is that the issue of the land needs to be discussed properly. We need to discuss it fairly. We are not saying these people should have no land. We say we can't stay without land when they have land. We must find a formula. We tried to work out on a formula, willing something and willing something. What was willing seller, willing buyer? Willing buyer, willing seller. It did not work in the 24 years sufficiently. And we need to agree rather than to say, no, this can't happen, it's wrong. Because you make us to think about this history. And to say, then what must we do? In 1879, Zulu warriors defeated the British at the Battle of Isandlwana. January. The British forces are defeated by the Zulu impies at the Battle of Isandlwana, indeed. In November, the Pedi, under the leadership of Sekhukhune, are defeated by British forces, leaving about 1,000 Pedi warriors dead. Sekhukhune is captured and imprisoned in Pretoria. Just look how the kingdoms were just being destroyed without any second thought. In the Cape, government annexes Fingo land, Amamfengu, and Griqualand and Griqualand West, which constitutes 2/3 of the territory between the Cape and Natal. Bathatha. In 1882 to 83, white farmers lay a siege of Nzuza, Ndebele, for 9 months, who, when faced with starvation, are forced to surrender. Their fertile land are seized and divided among the Voortrekkers. Each war participant is given 5 families to use as servants who work for little or no pay on the farms. So we're being turned into real proletariat, into almost slaves. You were sitting here with your land, suddenly it's taken away. Suddenly, your enemy says, you are now my worker. I'll pay you if I want. If I don't, sorry. In 1885, Galegaland and Tembuland are incorporated into the Cape Colony. So anything that was remaining is taken. 1887, after defeating the Zulu warriors at the Battle of Ulundi, the British formally annexed Zululand to preempt simmering threat of the Zulu people fighting back to recover the loss of their territory. The kingdom is broken up into 13 chiefdoms by Garnet Wolseley and placed under different chiefs, each with a British resident. The chiefs are asked and told, the magistrate is Nkosi. You report there. This is a story of the land, how it was taken, and how we became landless. The last one, there are many. The last one was the introduction of poll tax, which made Chief Bambata to rebel. Chief Bambata Kamanzinza of the zone led a bloody revolt and defeated the advancing British law enforcers who were trying to fight him. Dealt with them, but they organized. More reinforcement were sent in to try and capture him. He fled and operated from the Nkandla forests and continued to build a resistance army and conducted a guerrilla warfare together with Kakjana. The white troops in the area were faced with that fight, including the leaders, chiefs who agreed to pay poll tax, Tatjana had formed the guerrillas that they were called by then, Abashogobes. They dealt with them. That led to the arrest of King Dinizulu. And indeed, Bambata was defeated. This was the last resistance from us as Africans. It sent a very clear message that the methods we've been using so far did not work to make us defend our land, and made our forebears to take a decision to fight differently, to use the political methods to fight, because land had been taken. Very serious situation, because in clash between the Afrikaners and the British that led to the Anglo-Boer War, as it was called then. The main thing is that the land had become a big issue for the British. They did not want Afrikaners to have what you call the republics without them controlling. And that's why that war. And finally, the Afrikaners were defeated. They then put together a new country, the Union of South Africa. Now, if we say by 1910, the whites who were fighting among themselves had reached an agreement to put together all four republics and make one union. Why do we think after 1910, the land was not taken away? It was only taken away in 1913. And that's where we should claim. I think it's an issue that needs us to deal with logically. Because it is the 1910 Union establishment which put all of us out, blacks, only whites. We had no vote, we had no participation in parliament, in localities, everywhere. That's what made those who felt we now have to fight differently to form an organization for the first time. And every community was represented in Bloemfontein. And the issue was no longer just the land. The land, the country, in whatever form you call it, the authority, our rights, everything. In our country, we're being pushed out of administration. And this is what made us to say, let us fight. Now, what is interesting for me is that at that time, those people who lived more than a century ago, made a call that this problem is facing us blacks, that we cannot defeat the colonialists if we are not united. If we think we can fight it in our different things, by that time there were few organizations that each of the provinces had. And they were convinced we need to form one organization. We must all be part of it. We use use it to unite all of us. And they said at the time, let us stop. Let us stop fighting among ourselves. Let us stop the animosity among ourselves. And I'm sure when we are feeling good, we say these were old people. We're not as bright as we are. We can now operate and manipulate high-tech things. Certainly we believe we are actually better than those. Babengakwazi ukushayela imoto, ngisho ukugibela ibhayisikili yayibawisa. Tina, we fly planes today. But we can't see the sense that Africans must unite. That is my biggest problem, I can tell you. We actually every day find reasons why we must disagree. And people who have been oppressing us in every respect, every day they find reason why they must win some of us on their side. And I believe they have some success. I believe they have some success. The question is, what must we do about it? We. What must we do about it? That's a question. Somebody's asking, what must be done? Or what is to be done? That's a question. Whose question? It's a Lenin question. Yes. Okay, thank you. I must tell you. Perhaps let me come back to this point. Because to me, it's one of the most critical points we are faced with today, at this day and age. Unity to solve our problems. Without unity, we will be used to kill one another. And our problem will become bigger and bigger. I'm not sure whether we have analyzed freedom that we got in 1994. Whether we have an understanding as to what is freedom. What's the definition of freedom? Do we know? Because if we don't know, you are bound, once people say there is now freedom, you can now vote. You are bound to say, yes, we have arrived. And stop fighting. You have no land. You have no economy in your hands. You just have political freedom, political power. There are three critical things and three pillars. The political pillar, the economic pillar, and the security pillar. This is, it looks like simple, it's complex. 3, if you say you are free, you don't have all these 3 in your hands, forget it. Forget it. You could have political power, but without economic power, without security power, that political power will be eroded with time. At first, you will be very happy. You will win with a big majority. And you will think we've got it. But if you don't use it to gain both economic and security power, in a matter of 1 or 2 decades, you'll discover you are actually worse than before. I talk to politicians, I talk to Christian, I talk to South Africans. There is a common point they are making. Hey, la hambi zusilpegi. Today, absolutely. Why? Because we have held political power since 1994, we have not sufficiently used it to gain our economy and gain the security of the country. There are 3 pillars that we must focus on. I'm told, this division we have, which to me, if we don't realize, we can all find ourselves worse than where we are. If we see the situation, you know, I can say a few things because they are perhaps rare. Let me take political organization word history. First one, PAC. What happened? PAC started fighting among themselves. Sad state of affairs. I'm being honest. One time I used to say, what will take me out of politics is just to talk straight. Because at times politicians don't love the truth. Actually, in front of us, it finished itself. It started in Parliament, I can't remember with how many seats. It ended up with about 2 seats. I think now it has 1. A powerful liberation movement that fought for the liberation. How it has been undermined. Others, very also important, take Azapo, also went to Parliament with few, but instead of gaining, it has been also shrinking, almost out of Parliament. These are people who were saying, we are black, we're fighting for the black man. Remain with the... I don't count others that have emerged just now. No. By this, I mean the copes of this world, etc. The one lay socialist, Transcan, Jalon. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the organization that were established to free a black person in South Africa. And they went to prison. They had people paying the supreme sacrifice. Nkulum ngalabo abanye. Serious. Hey, kunzima. Kumatima. The critical point I'm making. Yeah, mana kancane ke ma. Mana kancane. Uzokhuluma mase ngiqedile. Yebo. Sengithatha indawo yakho. Sengithatha indawo yakho. I think you will agree with me that the ANC since 2005, the problems of this nation started, ending up with many splinters moving out of the ANC. Even the fellow who is now that Ubabun Kritamu bekhuluma naye la Pumala by ANC. Why? You ask the question. It's the sickness of the black man in the world. We have power. We are a majority. We can't see it. We can't use it. We've got a weapon in our hands. Our power. We can be a 2/3 majority in this country and do whatever we want to do, including land. It is in our hands. But we are divided. We fight. We swear at each other every day. We embarrass one another every day. That's a problem we have. That's a problem we have. We are not therefore focusing on the real issues and the real solutions. We have the political power. I'm sure you'll agree with me. At the beginning, we had the majority in Mwabintengaka. Why sana 2/3 now? Asena much. The plan of those who are invisible are that in 2019, even ANC should not have the votes or the percentage more than 50%. They are now creating a phase of coalition so that no single party can be stronger above others. That's going to happen. Sikhona basihlakaza nje one by one. Sibe zicucwane iningi. It's a problem we have. We have the freedom, we have the opportunity to rule this country, not even to ask people, please bring the land back, just to take the land with the majority. Because if we are united, we have a big vote, we take a decision, we make the law. We achieve what we want. But we are not going to do so because sabulawa, siyagula. We are sick, we don't realize that we have got the strength, we have got the vote, but akuyona yethu iyamanipulatwa by some people. Basihlukanisa, basithenga ngemali, bathi zonda lo, and thina nje senza lonto. And therefore, this issue of land is a serious issue that needs us united and solve it. Not by chasing people away. We should play a role in saying how this land is equally distributed, everybody has it. How do we use it for economy? And say, how do we deal with the wealth underneath? Nanamshani, we're helpless, I can tell you. We're helpless. Gisho City, no. Beneficiation. kunzima kuyibona into elula nje ukuthi ngabe sikhipitshe liphekwa la lishayiniswa la lilungiswa la lithengiswa la noma lele liba udaka noma lele licobezelayo umuntu olifunayo alithenge la. We can do so. We can have a powerful government dominated by us. But asikwazi ukwenza lokho. It's a problem. We are faced with an issue that the economy is not in our hands. And therefore, one pillar of the three is not in our hands. We can't therefore boast that we are in charge. Angikhulumi nge-security, which we normally don't talk about. There is no country that can stand and think that it can defend itself without a strong security. No, there's no country. You can look at other countries who are strong and big. They don't send their politicians going around talking politics. They just send their companies to get to the economy. They do diplomacy. It is in the quiet, in the security cluster where they work hard. They buy people quietly with a lot of money in your country, in whatever country. They build their forces very strong. Many of those who are big, they've got nuclear. They don't want other countries to have nuclear. They're very strong. And they're in charge. They are in charge. You had a power here, nuclear power. We destroyed it. When we were strong already, poop. Laba to destroy, by payable, by destroy, is meant for others. As the security power, the area you don't talk about. These three pillars are critical. If you are in charge of your country, you can't have a weak security. From military, police, and intelligence. You spend money there. If you don't spend money, it means you are weak. It's a serious matter. But if we don't see this, because we are busy, we don't see what we need to do and what must be done in order to achieve this, then we'll remain. We would do this even your children's three children will still be saying, land, please, land. We can get land. We can discuss land more effectively if we're united. But if we are not, forget it. But no bafowethu ayisingayenzi kanje. Ngono singenele kanje. So I want to say to the Black Caucus, I'll discuss politics. Noma ngabe discuss from NGOs differently. Whereas Tina, ayikho into singahlukene ngayo. Ama NGOs ahlukene. Ama sonto ahlukene. Ama political parties ahlukene. Yonke into. Sengathi zaqalekiswa usathana. At times, nawo lo nje ufuna ukuba umholi. Nalo ufuna ukuba umholi. Nalo ufuna ukuba umholi. I think we must say, let us discuss genuine politics that affect the blacks. I always say, when it comes to the blacks are carrying the burden globally, not only here. Like South Africa. Like South Africa is because we had a special system institutionalized racism. That's why it is more prominent. You go to the United States, the blacks are in trouble. Bayafa nje njalo badutshulwa nje iphoyisa lipractice ngabo lamhlobo. Bayafa. Shumsebe emcindezele ethi akuvumi ngiphefumule ngizofa aza phuma umphefumulo. Akwenziwa lutho umuntu omnyama. Ngeke bayenze kumlungu. They can't do it. Noma ungafika eLondon, go to Oxford. Uhlukile. Awuye emaceleni lapha la kuthiwa khona kuma-ghettos. Labantu abamnyama la uthonga khona imilimili. Lo ayithola uyithola Oxford. Kulapho khona thina. You go everywhere. The burden of the black man in the world is too heavy to carry. If you talk about the majority of slaves, they were black, who created the wealth in other countries. If you talk about countries that were totally colonized, were black in Africa. We had to do the anti-colonial wars. Nowhere else. We are the only continent where Europe met and the agenda was how do we divide Africa. They actually met in a conference. And we were human beings, but we're not there. Took decision, they came and colonized us. Is it possible to unite? Black men, you are on your own. There is no one who's going to help you. Let us see that we are in trouble. Let us get out of trouble ourselves. The key answer is unity. Unity and the understanding of what freedom is about. We are free, not completely. How do we complete our freedom? We must be economically free and security-wise also. It is an important thing for us to do. If we have that, the issue of the land will be easier to deal with. We'll take it, and this country will be self-sufficient. The answer to our problems is in our hands. The strength of our numbers, of our majority. We can correct the wrongs in this country. If we don't do so, and I would like the Black Caucus, you know, it is a painful thing. One time, and I must say this because people never understood what I was saying, you have empowered blacks who are educated, but who think they are no longer Africans. They phone, if they are phoning programs, they are criticizing other Africans, they are criticizing their government. They are not coming to participate, to help. And I said, these are clever blacks. And I said, who feels the pain must know we are guilty. Because if that is not the case, with the percentage of empowered Africans, we could move this country forward in a better way. Instead, tell me clever blacks. But I can't say by Zilim. But I will deal with the issue later. Baba.